Kobe, MJ, and LeBron. Guys who are always in the conversation as the greatest ever. But what about someone who gets forgotten a lot of the time? In this video, we're talking about one of those guys, Larry Bird. Larry is a guy whose success in the NBA is among the top successes we have seen in NBA history. But how good was Larry Legend actually, and what do other NBA legends think of him? The 6'9" forward arrived in the NBA as an almost fully formed superstar and did not hesitate to lift the league's most storied franchise back into title contention after down years. I want to talk about how good Larry Bird actually was, and some things you may never have heard about. I'm pretty sure that you'll be amazed by his stats as a player and understand why Nick Wright ranks him 7th in his top 50 NBA players of all time. Larry Joe Bird was born and raised in West Baden Springs, Indiana, to Georgia, his mother, and Claude Joseph, his father, better known as Joe. Joe served in the U.S. military during the Korean War. Both his parents were of Irish, Scottish, and some Native American descent. Larry had Mike, Mark, Jeff, Eddie, and Linda as his siblings, so Larry was one of 6 kids. Larry was a star high school basketball player. He started for Springs Valley High School and averaged 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 4 assists as a senior, on his way to becoming the all-time scoring leader of his school. Georgia and Joe divorced in 1974 while Larry was in high school. About a year later, Larry's dad died by suicide, a tragic event for Larry and his family. Georgia managed to work multiple jobs to provide for her family, and Larry never forgot his humble beginnings. Larry Bird had once affirmed that being poor as a child still motivates him to this day. A little wonder why he showed great brilliance during his time on the basketball court. Bird received a scholarship to play college basketball for the Indiana Hoosiers. Even though the school was in his home state, he dropped out in his first month or so, saying that the school was too big and he had too heavy of a course load. He also cited a desire to be closer to home. Some believe Bird was still grieving his father's passing and wanted to be closer to home for that reason. Others say Larry wasn't a fan of Bobby Knight's coaching style. He returned to French Lick, where he enrolled at Northwood Institute in nearby West Baden, and started working municipal jobs for about a year before later enrolling at the Indiana State University in 1975. Larry Bird's most well known for playing his college ball at Indiana State, and he had a successful career in his 3 years as a college player with the Sycamores, helping them reach the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history with a 33-0 record, where they played the championship game against Michigan State. Indiana State lost that national championship game 75-64, with Bird scoring 19 points on 33% shooting. The game received the highest television rating ever for a college basketball game because of a matchup between Bird and Magic Johnson, a rivalry that lasted throughout their professional careers, and 2 careers that were Hall of Fame worthy. Although he didn't win the championship, Bird received several year-end awards and honors for his outstanding display, including the Naismith College Player of the Year award. In Bird's college career, he averaged 30.3 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 4.6 assists per game, leading the Sycamores to an 81-13 record during his tenure. He graduated in 1979 with a Bachelor of Science degree in physical education, a degree he used to school his opponents in the NBA throughout his career. Bird's rise in the NBA was not surprising at all for anyone who had followed his college career. He immediately transformed the Celtics into one of the title contenders, with the team improving its wins by 32 games from the year before, and now finishing first in the Eastern Conference. Bird recorded 14 points, 5 assists, and 10 rebounds in his career debut in a 114-106 win over the Houston Rockets. He recorded his first career triple-double in his rookie season as well, with 23 points, 19 rebounds, and 10 assists in a 115-111 win over the Detroit Pistons. Bird recorded his first 30-point scoring game, along with 3 assists and 11 rebounds in a 118-103 win over the Indiana Pacers that same season. He was off to a great start, averaging 21.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 1.7 steals per game for his rookie season. Bird was selected to the All-Star team and named Rookie of the Year, but in the conference finals, Boston was eliminated by the Philadelphia 76ers. Luckily, this defeat couldn't keep Larry Legend down. Bird had tremendous achievements during his career in the NBA. He was the 3-time NBA champion in the 1981, 1984, and 1986 seasons. Bird was also a two-time NBA Finals MVP in the 1984 and 1986 seasons. He was also a three-time NBA Most Valuable Player, a feat he achieved consecutively from the 1984 to 1986 seasons. He was a 12-time NBA All-Star from the 1980 to 1988 seasons and the 1990 to 1992 seasons. Bird became the NBA All-Star Game MVP in the 1982 season and a 9-time All-NBA First Team from the 1980 to 1988 seasons. In 1980, Larry Bird was the NBA Rookie of the Year and the NBA All-Rookie First Team in that same season. Larry Bird was a 3-time three-point shootout champion from the 1986 to 1988 seasons. Larry Bird was extremely exceptional in his playing days and always backed up his notorious trash talk. Nick Wright was quoted saying, "Everyone remembers Larry Bird, the iconic scorer, the first true great deep shooter of any era. What I think younger folks don't understand is he was an exceptional rebounder and one of the greatest passers ever." His nickname, Larry Legend, was first birthed by the post-outrageous basketball columnist Peter Vexey, and that was because he was doing legendary things that year. Not only was Bird exceptional among fans, but many NBA legends have reminisced on Bird's playing days and give him his well-deserved respect. We all know how great Kobe Bryant was in the history of the NBA, so when he gives his appraisal of a player, then you should know how great the player is. About Bird, Kobe was quoted saying, "I will say, as the years go on, people really forgot how great Larry Bird was," Bryant said. "He was ridiculous, and I grew up in LA, just like everyone else here, hating his guts. Dude, the guy was just money." That's high praise from the Black Mamba. Fellow contemporary and NBA legendary player Magic Johnson, together with Larry Bird, holds one of the fiercest rivalries in NBA history. These two iconic figures carried the league in the 80s and brought it to another level with their world-class style, which includes 3 NBA Finals. Of all of the greatest players that Magic has ever played, he had once admitted that there was not any player he feared as much as Larry Bird. Magic was quoted saying, "When I played, Larry Bird was the only one I feared. A lot of black guys always ask me, did Larry Bird really play that well? I said, Larry Bird is very good. He's frightening." Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is another NBA legend who witnessed and experienced how great of a player Larry Bird was. He also shared his experience when he faced Bird. "The best guy I've ever played against might have been Larry Bird. People don't appreciate Larry Bird enough. They thought he was this chubby white guy, but he could wear us down. The muscle that is in between his ears was the best because he made 3 points, assisted, rebounded, and steals. He was always in the right place at the right time. Yes, without a doubt, he is one of the best players I've ever played against." About Larry Bird, Nick Wright said, "He came into the league a little old, left the league a little early, but while he was there, from the moment he stepped onto the court, he was one of the best players in the league and stayed like that for a full decade." A skilled scorer, passer, rebounder, and clutch performer, Larry Bird is number 7 on Nick Wright's list of the top 50 NBA players of the last 50 years. Larry Bird was a 3-time MVP, won a pair of Finals MVPs, and led the Boston Celtics to 5 NBA Finals appearances and 3 NBA championships. Where do you rank Larry Bird among your all-time NBA legends?